actually have Michael Shannon on the line and ready to go.
Great, let's talk to Michael.
All right, hello, Michael. How are you doing?
All right, yourself?
Hey, Michael, this is Marty Keegan, buddy. I saw you in your movie Bug, and you were tremendous.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Marty. I appreciate it.
How's you're in New York right now. How's everybody reacting to it?
Well, there's a wide kind of spectrum of reactions to the movie. I think if people can handle kind of the place it goes to, it's kind of for lack of a better word, maybe a dark kind of story. Some people seem to enjoy that more than others, but for the most part, everybody seems pretty shaken up by it. Yeah.
Well, the thing about the movie. Let's tell people what the movie is about. Do you want to describe it, or do you want me to?
I can go either way.
Well, you do it. They get sick of hearing my voice, so help me out, would you?
Please, Michael.
Well, all the money we're paying you, come on now, earn it.
All right, it's kind of a love story for me. It's these two very lonely people. You have Peter, the character I play, who's at the beginning kind of a mysterious drifter, who you come to realize is a veteran of the Iraq War. This was actually based on the first Iraq War when it was written, ironically enough.
The good war.
Yeah.
The good war. Not the bad war we're in now, the good one. But we kicked ass, took some names, and we're right. Now we're just looking over our shoulders saying... Yeah,
we saved the Kuwaitis.
Yeah.
But, and then Agnes, who is kind of bunkered up in this motel out in the desert. She's a loner, a hermit. Only leaves her place to go to work, pretty much. And she's also has kind of a mysterious past as well. And these two very damaged souls come together and in their own unique way, fall in love. And then they try and solve one another's problems with a questionable degree of success, I guess you could say.
Well, I thought the interesting thing about this story is I think, at different points in our lives, people get depressed, events happen, and it is easy to slip into insanity. And nobody ever thinks it'll happen to them, but it very easily can when you're isolated. And in this situation, you're isolated with somebody who's a bit nutsy-fagan.
Yeah.
And now you were in this as a play, were you not, in London?
Yes, I've done 3 productions of it as a play. The first was in London, and then I did one in Chicago and one in New York. So.
Now, how was it working with Ashley Judd? That's pretty good work if you can get it, and you got it.
Oh yeah, she's absolutely sensational. I mean, I loved every minute of it. She's as Billy's very fond of pointing out how intelligent she is, which I really think is a good way of summing up what makes her so special, is that she's just really, really smart. She reads the script very closely, and she's very respectful of the material, and she's had a lot of people ask her, were you scared, were you nervous about doing this? Such a rough journey, and she just never showed any sort of trepidation at all. She's very brave, and
she really jumped into the role because she doesn't look particularly beautiful in the movie as far as what you'd normally expect. And
Billy was very adamant about everybody kind of looking the way they looked when they showed up in the morning. He didn't want any sort of, because for Billy it's all about authenticity. He wants everything to ring true, and that didn't ring true to him. Anybody looking, and the fact of the matter is, Agnes is, wouldn't have any reason really to make herself up in the situation she's in.
Yeah, she's depressed. But what was it like working with Friedkin? A guy who's The Exorcist, for the people who don't know, he directed The Exorcist, French Connection, Brink's Job, and you show up, you got the gig, and was it a bit intimidating at first, and then he put you at ease, or how did it work for you, or you just don't give a damn?
Yeah, I would definitely say there was when I first heard that this process was starting, it seemed like a fairy tale to me. It was very hard to buy into that it had anything to do with reality. You know, the fact is that William Friedkin had seen the play, let alone, you know, just the fact he had seen the play.
So he saw you in the play and he really dug your performance and said, "That's the guy. We're going to stay with him."
Yeah.
You got to love the guy for that he didn't say.
Oh yeah, definitely. He went to the Masters.
We need Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, well, you know, and I don't fault anybody, you know, studios, or I don't fault anybody for thinking that way. I mean, it's a risky business making a movie, and
yeah, that's right.
The people that run the studios, they want to give themselves every protection that they can, that they'll get that money back. But for Billy to do what he did, it's one of the greatest gifts anybody's ever given me in my life. So.
Well, but
when you get on the set, you know, we just got out of a press conference with him. He's just the funniest, sweetest man. He's so intelligent. He's so much fun to talk to, and so well read, and you know, and he's older. You know, he's mellowed out. I guess I've heard, you know, during the '70s he was
a maniac.
Yeah, but you know, I would never know. I wasn't there, but the man that I was on set with was just a real joy to be around.
Well, I met him a couple of weeks ago, and he's coming on later in the show actually to talk about the movie, and he was really nice, and I thought the same thing. I had heard that this guy's a maniac, and you know, and I was excited to meet him, and he was so down to earth and really put me at ease, like, immediately, and was joking with me. So I think it's important to have a director that does that and instills confidence in you as an actor. I mean, when there's a separation and you feel like you have to prove yourself to them, that's not really conducive to getting the best performance out of you, don't you think?
Well, yeah, and that's something that Billy said today earlier, is that he saw his main responsibility as the director to make a comfortable environment for me and Ashley and everybody else to do our work, you know, to create that security, because, you know, doing this material, if you're shy about it all, or if you have any insecurity about it, it's really going to show. You know, you got to feel like you can really go to this place, and he just made it very.
Well, you went there and back, man. You went there and back, and you're really creepy in the movie. And you know, everyone during the movie, you're trying to figure out, who is this guy? Is he for real? Is he a nut? And for people who don't know, you know, you're a paranoid schizophrenic who thinks he sees bugs. And it's a progression through the movie of this anxiety that starts to build throughout the movie to the point of explosion. And this movie takes place primarily, 90% of it is in one room. So yes. I think the actors have to be engaging, and the direction, you know, I mean, Friedkin directed a version of 12 Angry Men, which I want to ask him about, because that had to be great preparation. And this was much harder because you've only basically got two actors to work off of, and you were able to create a character and different reactions and responses, which I thought were great and at times humorous, that were really riveting. And I think this is a role for you, man, that is going to really garner a lot of attention and lead to a lot of different roles, because I thought, out of everybody in the film, for me, it's why I wanted to talk to you, I bought into your character immediately.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it's fun. I love the fact that you brought up the humor, because that's something, in the rush to kind of qualify this as a horror movie or a psychological thriller, a lot of people kind of jump over the humorous aspect of it. And it's something I've done a couple of other Tracy's plays as well, and it's one of my favorite things about Tracy's writing is, no matter how dark things get, he's always able to find the humor in it, and I'm glad you picked up on that.
Well, I think you find it as an actor, because that's my big gripe with a lot of actors, is that anybody can give a line reading, and you can turn on the TV, and anybody can give a credible line reading, and that's fine. But to find the nuance of the character, to humanize the character, to make the subtle little face you made at Harry Connick behind his back, I don't think that's written. and and that was in the moment, and that's just you being the character, and it was awesome. And I appreciate it very much, and I think that this film is going to be a cult film. I really do. I think it's going to be something that people either love it or hate it, but there's going to be a group of people that's going to be their favorite film. And you're going to be this demonic guy that they're just going to love. Now, the question that people have for you is, how do you get a date after somebody sees you in that movie?
Oh, gee, well, it's funny because I've been hanging out with my girlfriend saw the movie screening recently, and I don't know. She said she was really proud of me, but that's
she knows you. She knows you're not a psycho. You got to hang on to that girl forever now. You can never go out into the real world, or you have to buy up every copy of this movie and never let them see anything. Because now, if you approach a girl in the bar and you say, "You know who I am," they're going to run out of the bar like their hair's on fire.
Exactly. Well, I think that had something to do with what you were saying earlier about, the question is, what can I follow this up with, or what do I do next? I'm anxious as an actor to make sure that people know that's not, I can do other kinds of things. Well, so that's something I'm going to be looking at, maybe trying to break out with something where, And the interesting thing about Peter is at the beginning of the story, he is a very kind of friendly guy.
Absolutely.
He's not like, and he's compassionate, and he's, kind of gentle, and it's only when, he feels like he's in a dire emergency that this other side comes out. But
it's like a guy with Tourette's. People with Tourette's can control it for a certain amount of time, and then it explodes into a worse malady. And that's how I saw this guy, that he can keep himself under control for a certain amount of time, and then he becomes who he is. You can't hide who you are, and you can only hide the disease, and that's part of the disease, the ability to be able to mask it for a certain amount of time.
Oh, exactly. These, people with this condition are oftentimes very, very intelligent people. It's a lot of it's the result of just an overactive mind. And obviously combined with other factors. But
now we're being asked. We've got a chat board here, so people are asking questions, and they want to know what it was like working with Tom Sizemore and Alec Baldwin in Pearl Harbor.
Oh wow, man! Back to the oldies. Wow, that's a blast from the past. I love Alec Baldwin. I just think he's fascinating. I loved working with him. He's so funny. I mean, this guy is so
he funny offset?
Yeah, he was very, he was very charming. It was a situation both with Alec Baldwin and Tom Sizemore where they were surrounded by a lot of younger actors who they knew kind of looked up to them a little bit. And I think they kind of enjoyed that, because, when you're making a movie, particularly a movie like that, it's a military movie, so there's already this inherent, status thing going on the set. Like, if your character is a sergeant instead of a private, somehow you're, a bigger deal or something, even though we're all ultimately just
I would know. I'm
actors.
Working my way up from craft service. Don't bring me down. I'm behind you. I'm behind you. Now, we're being asked if you're going to see Pirates 3, or do you have no interest in movies like that?
I saw the first Pirates. I didn't see the second Pirates.
Not a good endorsement of the first Pirates.
I liked it. I just didn't see, the possibilities for it being interesting, as a serial. I enjoyed it as a self-contained entity, but
it didn't lead you
my
Jones
girlfriend
into
said something very telling. She said, everything this summer is like part 3. Everything's part 3, and I'm like, I'm not into that whole sequel.
Well, it becomes exploitative.
Yeah.
Now, Prophecy from Toronto wants to know if Alec Baldwin ever left you a nasty voicemail.
If Alec Baldwin ever left me a nasty, because of the whole Kim Basinger thing?
Yeah. He's joking with you.
No, that's funny. That it took somebody else to point that out to me. I never realized that until a couple of years after the fact. And it's like, you worked with this guy, and then you worked with his wife, and you did it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just never put two and two together.
Well, you know, that's got to be a great practical joke. If someone can do a Baldwin impersonation, you know, and be leaving messages all over town. Yeah, calling you, screwing with your head, saying, man, I never liked you in Pearl Harbor, you son of a bitch. I saw you in Bug, and I knew you were a freak. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I think Alec has the comfort of knowing, as probably most people do, that we didn't actually have sex.
Or if you did, it wasn't that memorable. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, listen, buddy, we're really, I'm excited for you, your career, and where this is going, and you deserve it. You're a real actor, and
thank you.
I know you got to go, and you're in everything that you said to me. Just get ready to say it 1,038 more times. So think of this as a rehearsal. So
I've got it written on my palm. I just hope I don't sweat too much.
Yeah, you'll be okay. You're going to be great, and I look forward to meeting you sometime.
All right, it's Marty, right?
Marty Keegan, right? Yeah, I'll be the guy sneaking up behind you in the grocery store saying, "Remember me? You were on my internet show." He said, "Hey, that's great. Can you get the hell away from me now?" So
I don't go to the grocery store. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm a director. I'm directing a feature this year, and I look forward to working with you sometime in the future because you're great.
Well, give me a call.
Okay, buddy.
All right, Marty.
Thanks, pal.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody.
Great dude.
Yeah, it's a really interesting performance. Michael Shannon starring as Peter Evans in Bug, opposite Ashley Judd, and they're these two whacked out characters, and he's a paranoid schizophrenic. And people are either going to love this movie or hate this movie, but you can't deny the performances in the movie. And this guy in particular, and I think this guy's got the potential to really be a star because it's all him and Ashley Judd.